Hey, good morning and welcome to Riverbend Springs and the Survive 25 Challenge here on the channel. Challenge brought to you, created by anyways, Rusty Money Gaming and in partnership with Crustu. Thank you for creating this challenge, gentlemen. This will be take 3 for me. But we'll get into more of that as we get rolling here. Every morning we run into the gasket for a Monster Energy drink, and then we'll head over to the bank here to make sure that all of our finances in order before we start our lives here. So let's just go into our finances quickly, and you will see that we're starting with a complete blank slate, short of the $500,000 that we're starting with for this challenge, and the outstanding loan balance of $250,000. This is a hard economy challenge. I have 2 days per month set and seasons on. The time you see up in the top right there for speed of gameplay or whatever, set to 3 right now. That'll fluctuate depending on what it is we're actually doing. So take 3. This will be the 3rd time that I attempt this challenge. I've so far deleted one game save that had about 10 hours and a second game save that had about 42, almost 43 hours. So this is day 1, hours after the patch on November 27th launched. So that's if we see any glitching, any hitching or whatever, that is likely because shaders are reloading. I did notice that when you go into the store, I'm experiencing some significant lag there, so that may or may not determine how much time we spend in the store together. But in saying that, we've got a couple purchases we need to make right away here. So let's go into the property menu and make a purchase here right away. All right, so if you're familiar with the map, this is what it looks like. We're going to come way over here to field 54, which is basically a nothing field. There's nothing on this field. It is neighbored by what will eventually be our farm, which is going to be up here on 53, and then what will probably be our fields, which are going to be right down over here. So this will be a field too. But here, let's jump over there quickly so you can see what it is we're about to purchase. Well, let's buy it right now because that's what we're gonna own. So out of our 500,000, there is almost $146,000. All right, so I have my eye on this lot from the first time I got into the game. If you followed anything, I typically like to just buy something and start from scratch. Starting from scratch, by the way, in FS25 is extremely difficult because everything is just so dang expensive. So your typical starting from scratch with an old tractor with no horsepower and working your way up is very difficult when everything is so expensive. So we're going to be utilizing leasing. There is a bit of a caveat to leasing in that you can only have 3 items leased at any given time. So long-term leasing is not what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for leasing more for specific jobs. So if we've got, for example, I don't know, if we need to seed a field, we may eventually we'll have all of our own equipment, but for at the beginning here, it's going to be kind of one-offs. So my plan on this property is to build out our first sheep pen and also start our first construction project. One of the I mentioned 3 farms, so eventually we're going to have 3 farms on the map. One of the rules or targets or goals or whatever is to build a constructible on each farm. So we're going to build a shed on this farm, I think. Of course, we'll be taking out whatever trees we can on this lot in order to generate some additional income. I'm praying that we can mow the grass. I haven't actually tested that, but I did read somewhere somebody had an issue with mowing the grass on Riverbend Springs, so I'm hoping that's not an issue. But anyways, yeah, and then eventually we will migrate up to here, a $237,000 field that currently has a field growing peas in it. But I really like this setting for a future farm. I say farm, I mean, essentially our field with some infrastructure could be a farm, but this is where we'll probably put our forever home for this farm. Maybe a nice big shop over where that old shed is. This might just become we may just get rid of whatever crops are here and put in grass or something. But yeah, I think this is such a cool spot here. And then there's a whole bunch of trees right here on the ridge that belong to this piece of property. So if we strategically carve out a section of them, that will enable us a really nice view down to our lower activities here, which is straight through here. So I have a vision for this area here as we long-term create farm number 1 before we ever get to farm number 2. So that's the plan. So we're going to be jumping into the shop next to purchase our first tractor and something to mow this lawn. And let's all collectively cross our fingers and hope that the lawn mows. All right, in the shop here, I've saved this. This is always a big moment for me, loading into a new game save and seeing what it gives you in the sale. It's almost like getting your starting box in Minecraft. Okay, and we are immediately faced with a decision here. That's interesting. Okay, so together we won't be spending a lot of time in the shop if this is the case. I'm hoping this is just some update glitches, but we're extremely choppy here in the shop. So anyways, we're not looking at that. We're looking at this. So this is a mod that Giants just recently added to the game, the 4755. I believe that's what this is. This is a great tractor. It's got 190 horsepower. It's got front and rear linkage, but when you're a starting farm like myself, it doesn't have the ability to put loader arms on it. But it is only $38,000. Geez, Giants, you might be forcing my hand immediately. Where I was going was over here to medium tractors. So there's the 4755 at $74,000. There is the tractor I was going to go with, which was the 7810, which by the time I had the loader arms to this and some wide tires were basically the same price as this. And it's 175 horsepower instead of 190. But we get loader arms. I guess what I was thinking was that $38,000 for this one, I could potentially go with this tractor at 38 full. Let's call it 40 by the time we upgrade the tires and add the loader arms to this. We're really not going to be in the store like this very often together, guys, because that shakiness is a little bit unnerving. All right, so we'd be 46 plus 40. So let's call it like let's call it $88,000. We get 2 tractors. This will have a loader arm. So basically, we could get 2 tractors, and it's going to cost us about $17,000 or $18,000 more than if we got one. So that's probably overkill for us right now, but I think we may go that route. So I don't need a loader arm immediately. So I think if we pick this up in the sale right now, and then once we need that loader arm, worst case, even if we're in a bad cash spot, we can probably lease a tractor cheap, get moved with bales or whatever, and we'd be okay. So let's do this. I'm going to purchase this. I'm going to purchase mowers, and we're going to meet back outside because it's unbearable right now inside the store here as far as the game is concerned. All right, there we go. Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, so hopefully that's just a symptom of the update and that some things need to kind of like build up in the background before we can get a smooth experience in the store, because that was rough, folks. Okay, so here is our starting mower configuration. I think we scored with this tractor. I really, I never luck out like that. Like sometimes I'll get equipment, but it's rare that I get a tractor that's, I guess it's not rare. It's not rare to see tractors, but it's rare to see tractors that are like something that I would have actually maybe considered buying. In that, it's sort of inexpensive. Now, as you can see, we do need to go do a service on this tractor probably immediately. So let's just pop over here quickly. We'll do the service, and then we'll go over and hope that we can mow the grass. Yeah, so right there. So we do. I'm not painting it, of course, but I will. Oh, okay. Repair it for a couple grand. No problem. Can't get out of the dealership without spending a little bit more money, I guess. So let me just quickly touch on the 52 or 53 hours of gameplay I've already deleted and why this is take 3. and then we'll get into what the actual challenge is. So it's probably a good time to talk while we're driving here. I loaded it into the initial game with anticipation, much like everybody else, and was met immediately with extreme frustration and and challenge in those first 10 hours. I was so pumped to get rolling, and then was really kind of not happy, as many were not. I had the glitching, the flickering, the flashing. I've had all of the errors and challenges. So in an attempt to clear some trees in the first playthrough, I rage quit and deleted my game save and didn't touch the game for 24 hours, which was anyways pretty immature, but that's what happened. In take two, I said, you know what, screw it, let's just deal with the glitches. I know there's going to be an update here at some point, and Giants, FS22 is so much fun to play. There's no way that we're going to get let down. Giants is going to make this good. I'd already experienced extreme challenges with the launch of FS20 or City Skylines 2. That launched, and even a year later, it was still experiencing a bunch of glitches. But so I was used to that. Planet Coaster 2 is another game that I just started playing. And while I didn't have previous experience with it, I did read a lot about the frustrations people were having. The new version came with a whole bunch of problems. Okay, I just wanted to double check to make sure. So we can mow all the way to the road, and then we'll just have to figure out. This is kind of the hill, starting of a hill. But yeah, you can see here, this property abuts perfectly with this property here. So this will make a great corner for us. Yeah, okay, so there's no beacon on this tractor. I didn't see that. That doesn't really matter, but I mean, what's a tractor without a beacon? I just want to line myself up with this back edge, because I know it doesn't go very far up the hill, the property, and I don't want to start mowing property that isn't mine. More just because I don't want the grass to sit there. I think I can terraform and paint everywhere or whatever, but so I'm assuming if I happen to mow something that isn't ours, it's not a huge deal, because I can always sort of paint that over. But I'd rather not deal with that. All right, but that should, if we go straight across here, that should take us along the back edge, and then we're right up into the trees. So we'll check again when we get up here. Also, let me just bring up the map there. Being a little bit careful here, just to make sure I don't screw something up early. So my 42 hours of gameplay, 42, 43, whatever, came with all kinds of ups and downs. I screwed up the sheep enclosures a number of times. I had every tree glitch. I launched my tractor into space a number of times, trying to use the front loader, and getting stuck in the ground, and it's spring loading me to who knows where. It just became unbearable, to be honest with you. So I ended up taking those 40, and I knew there was a save coming, or an update, and I had also heard a rumor that there was a potential that we were going to need new game saves anyways. So I deleted that 42 hours. I had basically my plan was to record 5 or 6 episodes and then get them out. So I had just begun to edit the first episode, and was just not happy watching some of the earlier like stuff with the game. So I got rid of it. I had almost just short of 500 gigabytes of recorded gameplay that went in the trash can. So there was that. So this is now take 3. So this is the one that we're going to play, unless there's some catastrophic issue with the update that requires a complete reset of everything FS. We should be good. The change log that I was reading earlier is just massive. They've changed a ton of things. I did not see a lot of stuff in there though, addressing the trees. Well, actually, I don't think I saw anything in there addressing the trees. So we'll see what that actually means for our lives here. Whether or not any improvements have been made to the way we interact with trees. So it was really quite challenging. So and then I went back once I read all the changes. Like I changed, updated like draw distances for graphics and different things. So like I'm watching kind of grass textures load in and out here right now. So I don't know if all that stuff's going to kind of fix itself over time, but I also just wanted to start making content and getting some things posted. I really missed the comment section on the channel, so I'd like to kind of get back to that. So feel free to make a comment and say hello. Tell me you're back, and we'll start going here. So Survive 25 is meant to be a base game challenge. So we launched with 3 base games: Wonka, the Asian map, which I can never remember the name, and this Riverbend Springs. So you could essentially choose any of the base game maps. It's a hard economy challenge. It's, as you saw, we start with $500,000 and some debt, and the goal in the end is to end up with 3 farms, 3 separate farms on the map. Each farm having its own specific kind of industry and sort of production funnel that feeds whatever that industry is that you've chosen. So in the case of farm number 1 here, our end goal is going to be production of fabric, potentially taking it one step further, and the production of clothing. I honestly think we'll probably want to go that route, because we're going to need to really increase our cash flow as we add on farm number 2, which is off in the future. And I don't specifically have a plan for that yet, but it's going to cost us some money to not only still be able to run farm number 1, but also then open up and start farm number 2. So we may also go the route of clothing, but we'll see. I don't think I've really ever done that, so I don't know how fast the clothing's produced. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. I'm sure by the time we get to that, there'll be, a ton of mods that want to entice you to increase production output, that kind of stuff. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I will try to limit the quality of life mods to just kind of make this always as hard as possible. But certain things are going to exist whether we like it or not. Recent additions, as I was trying to clear a hill of trees in the second the 42-hour playthrough, game save or whatever, I was able to download the lumberjack mod, which was just so great to finally have that. It gave us super strength. I will likely never use super strength while we're on screen here. But I will be honest, there'll probably be some off-camera times where I'm just doing certain things where I'll be utilizing super strength just to kind of move myself along. But yeah, I think we're seeing more and more mods launch. I imagine with the recent addition of Giants Editor and the different Facebook pages I follow in regards to modders and the amount of stuff people said they're working on or have already submitted to Giants, there's going to be a lot. I think we're going to see the landscape change quite a bit over the next week or two. So this will evolve with that. So we'll see how that goes. So what else can we tell you? So these 3 specific farms. So I'm going to use an example of a greenhouse on this property and another farm that's an oil production. So on farm A here, the sheep farm, I did mention I'm going to put in a few greenhouses so we can create some supplemental income to help us kind of beef things up here. Let's say, for example, that I want to put a greenhouse and I want that greenhouse to grow sunflowers. And let's say farm B is going to be an oil crop farm. So we're going to be growing, sunflowers, oil, olives, and canola. If I do that, right? So let's say I create a farm that's going to grow those things, and that the funnel sort of aspect means that that farm has to be able to supply the materials that its production requires. Well, if I'm growing sunflowers over here in my greenhouse, which I don't even think that's a thing right now, but let's say I was, then I can't use the sunflowers I grow on this farm to feed my production on another farm. We can't cross-pollinate, so to speak. So each farm has to stand alone. So if I decide I want to grow sunflowers on this property, then I just sell the sunflowers to like the farmer's market or whatever. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna go get a windrow, and actually I think what we're gonna do here is I'm going to just go get the windrow, and I probably could have cut these trees down, but I think on this first cut I just want to get them. I want to get the grass going. I want to see how many bales we can get off of this, and then decide whether or not maybe some of those bales get wrapped. Perhaps, I don't know. We'll see how that goes, so we can kind of get some silage going, but. But anyways, okay, so let me go pick up a windrow, and then we'll get putting things in rows. All right, so we've got our, I think this is about $19,000, this windrow. I bought it. We're going to keep this thing. Obviously, we're going to be putting a lot of cut grass into rows over time, I hope. So this is another one of these things where, I mean, this thing's $19,000. You almost have no choice but to buy this. The working width is the best. The dollars for working with in the store right now, this is by far the best option. So likely if you've seen any series where somebody's had to put something in rows, you've seen this thing in action many times. I haven't done myself any favors with kind of the way I've mowed around the outside of this field, but anyways, we'll be able to deal with it. We'll get as much grass off here as we can. So being that this is map grass, I don't anticipate we're going to see a bunch of bales off here. So where I mentioned that, maybe we'll get some bales we can wrap. I don't see that happening. I mean, if we're going to get some sheep, we're likely going to need all the bales. So on the topic of money, I said we're in hard economy. We're starting with a $250,000 debt. We are able to lease no more than 3 items at a time. There's no rule that says we can't continue to borrow money. I believe in our current financial state, I can still borrow up to a total of $500,000 in outstanding debt. I think if I run ourselves down to nothing as far as income, I think I can only borrow up to the collateral of what property I own, I believe. So that ability to borrow as we go forward will become more difficult, but yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. What I really want to do is leave no stone unturned and utilize every dollar available to us to get this first farm up and running, because each farm doesn't come with a new cash injection investment to be able to start that new farm. Everything comes out of one bank account. So the umbrella company is my bank account. So if I run out of money, I can't. I don't have another account to pull from. There are 25 $10,000 collectibles in the map, and I'm not going to limit myself there. I'm going to take every collectible I find, and if I find 10 in a day, well, you know what? There's $100,000. I've so far found, I think, 12 of them, which I'm going to probably early on here go and try to refind them. So we'll generate some initial cash. Initial cash in a playthrough, if you've played, especially when everything's so freaking expensive, your cash disappears so fast. So you really need to kind of get that money. But with every new game comes new ideas, and I've got a number of them that will probably spit out over time here as the relatable thing comes up. But imagine there was a mod that was like a Facebook marketplace, but then there was a certain percentage of those marketplace ads that turned out to be scams. So as a farmer, you could line up a purchase and then literally get scammed. So it's kind of like the tornadoes or the hail, how they take out crops randomly. You try to make these marketplace deals, and then some of them turn out to be absolute scams. Some of them turn out to be absolute steals, where you just somehow pick up something for far less than what you should have by luck. Okay, so when we get the rest put in rows, I'm going to make a coffee, and then we're going to figure out what we're doing for a baler. Once we get this baled up, I'm gonna have to probably we'll probably have to buy that other tractor. So once I get this baled up, we will we'll move the bales, and then we'll figure out we'll place our first construction project, so we know where that's going to go, and then we will put in our sheep. Then we'll have to figure out we'll have to buy some sheep, obviously, and then we'll have to figure out how to get some water for them. There was an update to, I believe there was an update to a mod, to a container, where it's the windmill water pump, I guess. It's like $2,000, I think, you can put on your property. When you put that down, I put it down in one of the first gameplays, whatever. When I put it down, it charged me money to get water out of it. And from what I understand now, it doesn't. I think I read that in the change log, but we'll find out together, because I think visually it's a good addition. And then obviously I don't want to have to drive to somebody's pond to get water all the time. Although there is one. No, there isn't one. There is one? Isn't one? I don't know. There might be one close, but who knows. Anyways, let's get this done, and then we'll talk about that again soon. Alright, so this is the last little bit here. I think we should end up with a decent amount of grass off of this piece of land. A little bit patchy, but that just also might be the graphics and not actual reality of lack of grass. So we're definitely going to have to get us a place to put our equipment. We don't want to just leave it here on the side of the road. Okay, so let me grab the baler and we'll get this put up. Anybody want to guess how many bales we're going to take off this? We're going to make 5,500 liter bales, so if that helps you, yeah, put that down in the comments, and there are no prizes. Alright, so $3,300 later, I've leased ourselves a little case baler here. I'm going to set the bale size to 150, and we'll see how many bales we get off of here. Then I think what we'll do, I did notice, I popped into contracts just briefly. I did notice there's a mowing contract not too far from here. So what I might do, if we're going to be grabbing that second tractor, which will enable us to move the bales, I will likely send maybe this one with the mower over to the contract, and we can see about getting that done. The other sort of random idea that I had when I was playing through in the first my first 50 hours of recorded gameplay, but there's probably about 120 hours on the game so far anyways, but the other one I thought would have been interesting when it comes to disposing of or dealing with like branches, could be like a burn pile mod. I thought that'd be kind of cool, where maybe it forces you to buy a burn permit, so there's some cost involved, and then you're able to burn between certain specific hours, but you could take all of the twigs and brush and everything that really isn't worth dragging to a sawmill or whatever, and burn it all. Because man, the trees are frustrating. The same invisible collisions that existed prior, if you remember, where dropping right there. If you remember where, like the branches, there'd be no branch, but then you'd go to like move one piece of wood, and it was almost like it was attached to something invisible, so like other pieces of wood would come with you. This has been going pretty smooth. We're getting a fair amount of bales off this field actually. So remember, these are the 5,500 liter bales. I think that's what it is, right? 5,500 or 5,000. We'll watch this next bale and confirm, but I think it's 5,500. Let's see. So far we have 20 bales dropped, which is great. So the tell will be when we go to place that sheep pen, whether or not it recognizes the meadow that we plant. If it doesn't give us the meadow, we definitely need all these bales because I'm sure our sheep will get hungry. If it recognizes the meadow, then at least now when there's grass, the sheep will have the meadow to eat. From what I understand, and it would make sense as the winter approaches, and the grass, great job on the grass farming giants. The grass turns brown, and and doesn't look as nice. Oh, actually, you know, the mod that I don't have on here is the one I don't believe that where it will discharge partial bales. We'll see. I might have it on. I don't think I do though. Or is that even a mod still? Is that part of it? Did I read something in the changelog about that? Anyways, we're gonna find out here shortly, folks, because there's no way we're gonna pick up 5,000 liters of grass in this last pass. So either we're going to get to discharge a partial bale, or somebody else is going to get that grass. But yeah, if it turns out that the meadow is feeding our animals, then that would allow us to maybe wrap some of these bales, because we definitely won't need as many. The chances of us probably picking up another piece of land, planting it, and getting one cut of grass before winter is decent. And you're probably thinking, well, yeah, but where are you supposed to get that money from? Well, that's okay. Don't worry about that. I'm not making any. I'm not. Nothing cheaty. It's just really the hustle is what it comes down to. So here, okay, let's see. So let's turn that off. All right, so we got 22 bales, and then stuck in the baler is another 3,000 liters of grass. So I'm going to peruse the map quickly here and see if we can come up with a bit of a strategy to determine whether or not this baler hangs out with us for a little bit longer, i.e. we're going to be mowing another one of our, another grass field, or if we can just return this. So let me just go take a peek here. All right, no, there's no like immediate grass fields here. We have some interesting opportunities with forests over here. There's another one of these sort of empty lots down here, which is going to be great. Eventually, this will become a little industrial lot for us, but I could buy it and mow it right now, but that's no point. So I think what we'll do is we'll return the baler. Okay, it didn't pay us any money for the grass that was in it. And then I noticed this. There was one mowing contract earlier, and now there's a bunch, and a couple of them are pretty hefty. So I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this tractor, we're going to go hook up our mower, and we're going to go accept some of these mowing contracts, and we're going to get a worker out there. I mean, like I mentioned, it is expensive to hire a worker, but in the end, you still make money. I mean, there's wear and tear on your equipment, and maybe that's not ideal, but like on an $11,000 mowing contract, I'm still going to make money. I may, even if I got to pay somebody like $1,000 or $2,000, I'm still going to walk away with a good amount of money. So, and actually, this contract, the contract that's $11,000 is over by the store anyways, which is where we're going to go and pick up our next tractor. Man, how often do you get to start like a gameplay like this and automatically have two tractors? I mean, they're both John Deeres. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on who you ask. This our farm, our choice of equipment would never fly with old George there on the farmhand. He would disown us if we started buying a bunch of John Deere tractors. So yeah, all right. Well, let me go accept. We'll go get this first contract started, and then maybe we'll regroup here as we're picking up bales, and then we'll get this tractor just working off in the distance, off in the background, so to speak, as we get our sheep pen and our construction site placed, and then who knows, that might make an episode there. I'm gonna try not to make 3-hour episodes. Okay, and there they go. Careful, that was our first tractor, and it was a hell of a deal. Alright, we're right around the corner from the store here, so we'll go lightly jog over to the store. As I'm driving around, I'm trying to remember where I found collectibles. If you've looked for collectibles on this map, they are so the Huntan Pan Thai or whatever, that the collectibles there are like glowing apples or something. I don't know what they are on Sri Lanka. On here, they're museum pieces from an old dilapidated museum. So they could be anything from like a broom to a weird piece of machinery to whatever. Like some stuff just looks like junk, but it turns out that it's actually it looks like it's junk, but it turns out to be a collectible. Some of it looks like it's part of the building it's attached to, but it turns out it's a collectible. So anyways, let's get this other tractor here. All right, not wanting to be too fancy, but I did. Well, this tractor's loud, I think. Anyways, we'll figure that out and we're processing this later, but it seems quite a bit louder than that other tractor. So not wanting to be too fancy, I did really lean into the John Deere theme. So we've painted our loader arms. This is not going to last, I can tell you this right now, but at the beginning here, at the outset, we're going to attempt to use the correct attachments depending on the job. What does that mean? In the past, I've been criticized for using things like bale forks to do substantial amounts of logging, for example. Pallet forks, and not use like a log grab. So, ooh, this would hurt, wouldn't it? Sorry, lady. Anyways, yeah. So I grabbed a bale fork here. Is that a bale spike? Bale spike. It's a mod on the mod hub. It allows you to configure the color, which I don't think up until today's color configurator we would have had the ability to make it John Deere green, but we do now. So it's John Deere green also. I did notice this is now the second John Deere tractor that we have, also with no beacon. Anyways, and then I did get the John Deere custom weight, so we can pick up the bales. I did contemplate getting a trailer instead of the weight, thinking, well, maybe we just put the bales on the trailer for now, and then we can move them around until we know exactly where they're going to go. But you know what, that might just be too fancy for us. I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably just stack the bales down where we've got our equipment parked, pray that there's no tornado, because I've yet to see one in game after all that in-game time. I have tornadoes turned on. Not that I want to see a tornado take my bales away, but I haven't seen one yet. Anyways, as a side note. So we'll just pray there's no tornado, and we'll get the bales stacked until we can get rolling here with our animal enclosure. All right, so these bales should go a long way to feeding our animals. Now as we're doing this, we got to kind of consider where I want the buildings. Our house will go up on the hill. We'll be sleeping in our tractor for a bit. That's came way too hot there. We'll be sleeping in our tractor for a while. So I don't have to worry about where I'm going to put a house down here, but I would like to obviously put the sheep in and then have a bit of a yard where we can, build that shed, and then I'm going to want a different shed also. So if these bales are in a shed, I understand that tornadoes will not take them away. So with the animal feed, we'll definitely want to get it under cover. It would suck in the wintertime if a tornado came through and took all of your animals' food. I guess in the end, you can go to the store and buy bales, but you don't want to buy bales when you had bales already. All right, we are rolling along nice and smooth. 84%, 86% done there on the other contract, or on the contract, sorry. So I just want to keep my eyes on that so we can move that worker to the next field that we'll accept. So I imagine we'll probably bring in close to 20 grand in contract income today, which would be good. Yeah, as I'm driving around here, I'm thinking, what would be the best use of this property as far as the layout? And I think that the yard itself, like where the sheds and such, maybe in greenhouses and stuff, would all kind of go off in that front corner there, so we could end up with like two entrances, one on either road, and then perhaps in this back corner here, we could then somewhere midfield. Good enough. Somewhere midfield, we could have our sheep enclosure, which then backs out over to this side, so we could access it handily from our yard, and then I think that would be good. I don't know how much field we're gonna have on this piece of land. I just quickly, as far as the contracts go, I've borrowed no equipment, so we've completed the one contract behind the shop here. So let's collect that for $11,400. Currently, our worker is doing this one here, $6,600, and then we have another one over here, which actually was in our 42-hour game save. That was the first grass field that I had bought. So kind of head over there for nostalgia's sake. So far we've paid $672 in workers pay. Spent almost $170,000 in vehicles. Anyways, okay, so sheep. Okay, so let's see if they've improved. Prior to the update, you had no idea how much money you were spending in total until you finished placing everything. So right now we're $14,000. Yes, let's customize that. So see how it gives me a price. That's good. So that's let's call that $2,800. Oh, immediately I can't go in any direction. So can I still delete last segment? Hopefully it didn't charge me for it. Okay, I keep getting land is not owned by you, so let's go to about here then. All right. So what's that, about 10 grand? Let's assume that's around 10 grand. I'm finding this a little difficult to judge. I'm hoping I'm not being charged. I'm hoping I'm getting reimbursed here for stuff that I'm trying to place, but then it's not actually accepting. I'll assume that's around 15. All right, maybe what we do is we come back from there, and then we can always place another one next to it if we need to. So I swear we started off with like $190,000 and now I have 140. So is that $50,000? $52,000, of which 14. That's kind of ridiculous. 14. So was that $36,000 roughly for the fence? Let's see how much more capacity that got us over the base amount. And there's certain things, it just kind of is what it is, you know what I mean? So you just gotta have to deal with it. I like the placement anyways. We can put like I said, we can put another one next to it. Alright, before we put food in there, let's buy ourselves like a dozen sheep. And then we'll see if it says anything about the meadow. I don't really care which ones we get. Apparently they all do the same thing, but I do kind of like the little brown ones. So 57. Okay, so we went up from 19, 20. So we picked up like 37 capacity as far as the sheep are concerned, which I guess is good. All right, I don't want to blow the bank right now, but let's put in like 15 of these guys. These guys are inexpensive and going to be growing up. Put 10 of these guys. All right, I'm not really going to put a bunch more babies in there, but all right, so they don't have water yet. We got to get water set up. So we got to see if this meadow grass catches up. So let's put these bales in there. We're going to end up stacking a bunch of bales over here, actually, because then the nice thing is the bales just constantly feed into the enclosure. Yeah, see how it shows 3,000? So it's only taking 3 of the 5,500 liters in one of the bales, and then as the sheep eat it, the bales will start to vanish. But we're not seeing meadow yet. So we did plant meadow grass so they could eat here, I guess, but we'll see what that actually means. Now, in the future, I did notice that there's a way that you can delete these fences and then replace them with custom fences. So we may want to do that at some point just to make it look a little nicer, but for now we'll just do this. Okay, now for water. So there's a windmill water pump mod that, from what I understand, has been updated to now allow you to put it down and get water without a cost. So let's just see. Okay, first things first, I'm not going to like sort of try to game a little bit and figure out how to get free landscaping. We're just going to pay for our landscaping as we go. I know there's probably some ways that we can kind of mess around a little bit and try to not pay for it, but we're in the business of suffering to the full extent. All right, so this can become like a bit of a gravel yard here. We'll sprinkle in a little bit of dirt that we can paint around. I kind of want to maybe put a driveway straight out there. So if I put a driveway straight out here, and then if we end up with 2 sheep pens here, that would be good. On this side here, we can put a shed, some greenhouses, maybe a couple sheds and some greenhouses. In order for a farm to qualify as a farm, it needs to have 2 sheds, a silo, and a farmhouse. So the farmhouse will eventually be up here for us as we own this piece of land. And then we'll put a silo in somewhere. So this, as we build this yard out, sometimes I don't like to commit to things like for example, a water tower right now, but in the end, I guess we want to put that in so we can get going with these animals, because they do need water. Oh, I swear this used to be $2,000. Now it's $10,000. Oh, okay, that's, I swear this used to be $2,000. Sneaky. So, don't worry guys, you don't have to pay when you access your water, but you have to spend $10,000 to put it in. Okay, so as much as I like this, I also don't know where I'd want to put it yet. So 10 grand to maybe eventually have to move something seems a little bit crazy to me. So I know of a pond. I know a guy that knows a guy. So we're going to go pick ourselves up a water container, and then we'll stop by the pond on the way back. Vehicle. I'm sure. So anybody know what the law says as far as driving around with a bale spike? Like, there's no way that the MTO would allow you to drive down the road with a spike like this. Imagine somebody pulled out in front of you and you just nailed them. You go right through the side door of their car. Or potentially into a minivan, and you'd end up with like toddler kebabs. Alright, hopefully I can pull this. I grabbed the sort of 6,000 liter water tank. This thing cost me $17,000. It holds 6,000 liters of water. We'll see how much we need in the long run. But I'm hoping, I know there's a pond just up here that we're going to sneak into, excuse me. At least we'll get our first 6,000 liters of water for no charge before we go and ever put in a $10,000 windmill. Yeah, sneaky, man. Anyways, so let's lift this. I did notice too, while I was kind of puttering around, that there were some more mods released today on Mod Hub. So we had the color configurator released earlier this morning, and then just actually I got a phone call. So while I was on the phone call, I popped back into the website and found that some things have been added. So Sleep Anywhere has been added, it looks like, or they call it, come on. They call it Sleep at Will. I gotta have a tire in the water there. Yeah. Okay, wait. Let's straighten this out before we lose this thing into the lake. I've never, I hadn't actually had this small tractor in any of the previous playthroughs. I've always gone with the medium-sized tractors that obviously weigh more. So when I've come in here to to get water, I didn't get dragged into the lake. So I'm hoping that with this tractor, I don't get dragged into the lake. Yeah, kind of fill up like that. And a little more. Oh, I think I saw, did I dip a toe? I saw a little ripple. So yeah, it looks like power tools, super strength, all that stuff has been added now. So with power tools, I think we can do things like spawn bales and like lots of cool fancy stuff like that. So that's good. The other one I noticed too, so yesterday, Ola Holder, maker of Renaboo from FS22, and the modder responsible for the rounder bales that we have right now already in the game, that enables you to well, basically it kind of makes your round bales look more realistic because it rounds the edges. So he launched a map yesterday called New Frontier, which was on the mod hub and then was taken down quite quickly. I managed to download it. I think I noticed it like within seconds of it being uploaded to the mod hub. So I managed to download it and started playing on it. I kind of figured we would do a new series, so I did actually get about an hour into making that, and then realized that there was a couple issues that weren't working for me. Hold on, let me check something. Yep, I'm going the wrong way. Do it. For whatever reason, I thought we were closer. I would have maybe tried to find a pond closer to home, but so yeah, that new map. So I will be running 2 series now. I think, anyways. My hope is that I can do in our current setup. I've got an idea how I can do a bit of a starting from scratch build / map, like playthrough, whatever on that map. It's a kind of a no man's land type map. So I did notice that there's an update in Mod Hub right now on that, so we'll get that downloaded and see what that's all about. So that's good news. So things are happening here. I will definitely confirm that for me anyways, and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't know how I could be doing something wrong. The store is completely unplayable right now. When you pop into the store, the frame rate just ceases to exist. It's unbelievably bad. So I don't know what that, and it was not like that before the update. I could pop into the store and have no issue. I don't know what's going on there, but it's not. It is not enjoyable right now. So I think what we'll do is we'll get the water into the sheep. We'll get that one contract, that mowing contract, done, and then we will place our first construction project. Like I mentioned, it's going to be a shed. I guess it's going to. I don't know. We'll see. I say a shed because I want to build a shed, but I don't know that I necessarily like the style of sheds that are constructible. I guess it doesn't really matter. In the end, we have to build something for our farm in order to sort of have this count. So I guess we'll just pick one deal with it. There's a bit of a, I don't know whether it's a side challenge or bonus points or whatever, but there's like a longevity challenge when it comes to Survive 25, and that is it's more or less a total gameplay time challenge, and with the top tier being 1,500 hours. I don't even want to do the math to calculate how many sort of consecutive days that would be, but it's a considerable chunk of life committed to playing FS25, which, whatever it is what it is, we're going to play it anyway, so we might as well turn it into a challenge. But so that would, like with Crustu, for example, I know his goal was to play right up until, or was that Rusty Mini Gaming? One of them was talking about playing the game right up until FS20, whatever the next one is, so it could be 3 years. So could we potentially be playing this series / playthrough for multiple in real life years? Let's see how that goes. Who knows? I mean, I love this map. I think this map is amazing. Will it last the test of time as we go forward? Will I get sick of it and want to move to another area? I can only imagine there's going to be some sick maps coming out from the modders. If this is the base game map, what are the modded maps going to be? I'm really looking forward to whatever MA7 is working on, because I thought the Castle No Palesri, maybe, is that what it's called? And then that Deutschland map, those were amazing. I know they're already releasing mods, like there's a manure extension or a manure heap mod that I really want to have on one of these farms, and it basically looks like a conveyor belt, like an extractor almost, but that's just kind of a fancy way of dealing with the manure in game, so it comes out of there, which is cool. disconnect that. Let's just check quickly here. Are we getting... No, look, so we're still getting no meadow. We're getting no credit for meadow grass here. And, I mean, it's not like we're out of season. Oh, look, and we're also getting... Look at the grass. See the textures of the grass? It's just bubbles, or it's just blobs. So I've not done anything funky with my graphics. I have everything set to ultra. I have more than enough capability built into my computer to run this game on highest graphical settings. But look at the grass. It's just blobs. So we're not quite there yet, folks. The store is unplayable. I'm not getting recognition for the meadow grass that's in there. And the graphics are still falling apart. Alright, my dear, you're done. Yeah, we could be nice and get that last little bit done, but we're not going to do that. Let's see if there's one more contract that we could scoop. So we'll collect for that one. We'll collect for that one because our money is going down and we want it to go the other way. Whoa, look at this one. Harvesting oats on one of the big fields down here for $15,000. But we had to borrow the equipment for $1,500. So that might be a good one. I may grab a couple of these between now and the next time we meet. All right, let's get somebody to bring this home for us. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. All right, lastly, let's get this construction project taken care of. And then we're probably calling this one an episode there, kids. So, I like the fact that you get a preview. Hey, where's the... Oh, I was going to say, where's the silo house? It's there. So we have sort of a garage-style house here. House? Okay, look at the textures are... It's going to look better once I figure out the graphics. Look how blurry it is right now. So that's kind of a cool shed. That one is a little farmhouse. So we don't want to put... We're not going to do with a house. We'll do one of these houses on another one of our farms. That is a smaller shed. Although it's still a big shed. It's just got some big doors. But I think maybe this one... I mean, that thing's massive. This thing's going to need a lot of material, I think. Okay, could this one potentially be like a bale shed for us? Like if I slap this thing in here... I don't even know how big the footprint is when I put this down. But if I put this in here, then this could become a bale shed. Right? I could forklift the bales into there. Or whatever, loader arm them into there. If I use that as a guide, the dirt right there, that's enough room for me to get in and out of there. If I have two sheep enclosures here, then they could share the bales. And then I could build around it. Let's do that. Let's put this right in the middle, and then we'll just figure out around it. Because we need to put one of these in anyways. Please don't screw up something. Okay, that's reasonable. Look, that wasn't very much additional space at all. So if I turn the zone markers on... Right there. Okay, so let's get a little bit of landscaping done here before we vamonos. I'm going to just move this. Okay, that and don't get too excited because that shed is not going to build itself quickly. It's going to take us some time before we get all the materials because I think I need cement and cement, wood. Do I need metal too? Like, I have no idea. I see. Did I hear there's a place you could get free stones on the map where we could turn that into cement? Okay, so by a little bit of landscaping, we're gonna do. All right, so hang tight while I get this painted edge. give it one little rip there as we put the water back. I'll be tempted to maybe throw in one more small temporary shed so we can put some equipment in it if this is sort of the beginning of our build out. And then yeah, we'll be done for episode 1 here. So we started the day with $500,000 and we owed $250,000. Or sorry, yes, we owed $250. We started with 5. Where am I? Oh, there's the paper factory. I love this building too, by the way. Sorry, jumping around, but this building is amazing. Let's go this way over the bridge. Yeah, and I seem to remember. I can't remember if there was a collectible there or not. I don't know. Well, anyway, so yeah, we started off with $500,000. We owed $250. We still owe $250. We're down to about $100,000. But we now have a piece of land. We have 2 tractors. Like, holy, what's that? Who are we? We've got our construction project laid out, but not obviously started because I have no material for it. We have a good supply of sheep that should begin putting down some wool for us, and then we'll have to figure out what to do there. We have discovered that the shop is more or less unplayable and that we're still blowing textures for some reason, but we'll figure that out, I guess. Just park this off to the side here, and that's it. Yeah, so I think we got some stuff done here, folks. I'm feeling good about the start. I'm feeling good about what we've got going on in FS now after the update. Seeing things like power tools. There's a couple mods in there. There's another like bale spike. So I think we're now with this update, I think we're gonna see a lot of mods coming through, is my guess, but time will tell, I guess. Honestly, I think my mod folder for FS22 had like over 2,000 mods in it by the end there, and I definitely do not need 2,000 mods in order to enjoy this game. So I'm going to try to really be selective as far as what we put in there, but I think we all know how it goes, right? You start off trying to be pretty sort of strict to how you do things, and then things get kind of crazy in a hurry anyways. So yeah, so between now and next episode, I will likely end up doing a couple contracts. There's a number of harvesting contracts that look great. I won't touch any of the trees here yet, but it's quite possible in the next episode we will kind of end as I go into what we're going to do with some of these trees. I got to do a little bit of research and see if the silos hold wood chips. If they do, then I got a bit of a plan there. But may even quickly buy another piece of land. So, all right. So with that, let's say thank you very much. I am excited to be making this content again. And I look forward to the comments section coming back to life as YouTube starts to say, "Oh, look, the guy's posting again. Let's feed it out to some people." So, thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.